Hello and welcome. Right, we are starting down the store and we're going to grab this little lot and we are going to set these going grabbing some stone. It's nice. We seem to be having it's quite a venture really. And we've got quite a few and yeah, I'm well chuffed with that. I could not believe that when that dropped, the harvester. I always am a little bit sort of thing that it looks a little bit, because occasionally this sort of thing does happen. What was it? Yeah, on Rizu Forest, in the final year that we were there, the vegetable harvester dropped. But then I thought, well, yeah, but if you was going to like make this happen and you were cheating, you would have long since done that. You'd have done it in year one or something like that. People will see really that although occasionally it looks like, well, there is a little bit of luck to everything. What I mean is occasionally you are going to get this where it does happen, especially if you have just stuck it in the mods, because we know it all works like that. Well, I did tweak things, which then means it was sort of like reappeared. Or, again, it could have just been that it is the time for that one to appear, because it does seem to be totally random. So here's the anchor we want. Fantastic. And we want the lizard aggro star. Rather than the Deutz aggro star. Right, fantastic. Let's get cracking. Let's take this little lot out that we can just quickly buzz by without anybody. Let me just try and stop this for a second. Also, while they get out, because otherwise they'll buzz and stop them coming out. And we'll have accidents and mayhem and things like that, whereas that's actually worked for once. We're not actually... yeah, we're sneaking. Alright, so I just set this one going here, which means then I need to take control of the one behind, and the other one's going to follow this one. Struggling a bit on the this is what I was saying, if a tractor struggles because of the, you know, like the thickness of this, then in all honesty, how is a telehandler going to fare if you're going to try to use it as a tractor? And I know this literally from, you know, the way that no, I'm going to, even though it's going to take longer, I'm going to set them each one on a field because they bump into each other. And then what I'll do, I'm going to assist. I'm going to have great fun doing this. Even if I have to lease a tractor just for the fact that it's got a... okay. Seriously, what? Which one was it that I'd actually... No, she's alright. It's the other one that's in the way and blocking her. Ah, no. Actually, it's me being silly. She follows whoever you tell it to follow. Just because I grabbed the second one does not mean that this one is going to suddenly follow that one, because I didn't change my instructions. It's me being imprecise in my instructions that's doing it. This is... Now, obviously, it's true there's a lot to do on this. Yeah, there's some of these fields are... Why are you not doing the field I set you on? Because now that is wrong, because I set you on that field. Okay. Why? Oh no, I've set the wrong one. This is the one I grabbed. So... Right, so that me, good and bad, talk about get confused. Right, now then. Why are you, like, blocked? Surely, they are such nincompoops, really? And the other thing is, I'll do this, right? And it will actually go, and it will come back, and it will start all over again, because it wants to start from a specific point on the field. And, hey, guess what? That's blocked. You couldn't make this up, could you? It really is crazy. It is. And normally they do the ups and the downs as well. That's the really strange thing about it. They very rarely do the headlands first. I wonder if these remember, actually, the last time you used the tractor, whether it's got a variable somewhere that says you used the headland first, so we'll remember that, and you'll do that next time. Oh, Curly, you know you're useless. You really are absolutely pathetic, mate. If you can't figure out You really, really need to retake your test. It is true, though. The one thing we know that is that I moved those... now that's the thing I meant to do. We moved those eggs from that place, so for some reason, and it also shows where the spawn point is for that. So let's just set this going. And hopefully at some point they would have gone all the way around the edge of the field so that there's nothing in their way. And at that point, we might be cooking on gas. So let's grab you, stick you on another field. I'm liking this. I like the fact we're taking shit, because obviously the one bad thing about start from scratch, and anybody who's watched the channel for a long time will agree with this, is that obviously frequently I have not had sheds, and I'll put them down on the very last episode of, you know, like, oh, no, see that'll work it out. I don't know what it is about certain things or worse than... Now, the one thing I am going to say is that doing the production way I've done it, I've actually got it blocking the way out of the field. Now, I apologise, that will have deafened you all. Yeah, I have. On this particular one, now that's just obviously random and me not thinking about that, because that's just down to the look of the way things are done. And I thought yesterday in editing, I thought, well, actually, it's not that much of a stretch that it would have a DeWolf box for your things, because let's be honest, DeWolf is one of the big manufacturers that does beetroots, carrots and parsnips, so it's probably highly appropriate that DeWolf does do that, right? So we need to borrow a tractor that has the capability of having a front loader, which is a bit of a travesty really that we've got to loan somebody just to do this. We need something with a bit of grunt. Now I want to try this because we've got our own tractor. I love the AV as well. That is a nice tractor. I'm going to borrow this one because I don't think this takes any notice of the fact that I've told it to be 465 horsepower. I think Giant secretly, yeah, we do. It's a bit of a pricey thing, isn't it, to just have a front loader, just so as we can. Now we have got a. So we want a quick. Yeah, just a quick. That'll do nicely. 140. Want to lease you? Yes. And now we're going to lease a front loader tool. We're going to go for the biggie. I'm going to enjoy this. If we're going to do this, we ought to also, though, yeah, the 9 metre. I've changed this slightly. It's still doing that chatter, and I keep forgetting about lifting it up slightly when I'm in the i3D. It just settled down, but right. So that we've got that. We also need the big weights, the 5 ton, because this is soon going to get heavier where they can't shift. They are really heavy. Stones are really dense, as you'd imagine. So we want the stone picker weight, which is this one here. Let's lease you, yes. Yeah, I'm intrigued with this one because I think it's taking no notice whatsoever of the fact. Because I think, now the one thing as a modder I've realised, but also it's a process of elimination. A lot of things are just good logic, as in like, you know, like you work this out by just seeing and observing. I've always done that in farming simulator. Okay, so we've got 2 that are blocked at the same time. Well, that's a bit odd. Why you've got 2 blocked at the same time? Oh my life, do you know, seriously mate, why are you in the same position again? Why have you come to the same point? Oh, it's like babies. It really is. Artificially intelligent. Seriously, I don't see it. On that note, no, actually, no, we're not doing that. We're doing this. Yeah, on that note, it is quite funny, really. Who else is blocked? Oh my! Why are you blocked? Seriously? Oh my life. Okay, let's nudge it a little. Because if you're going to be blocked by this, then like everyone's going to be blocked by this every single time that they're passing by, and you're not going to want to shift here. It's like being awkward. It's going to go on the road and then it's going to cause an accident and it will be my fault. So let's set you going again. You babies. Let's grab the fence. Are you busted as well? Oh, my life. But you know, farmer girl, I expected better of you at least. No, you're still the same program, isn't it? As the old 80s saying went about, garbage in, garbage out. It was a programming acronym, and it is true. The level of programming is obviously the problem. It really is, because if you give them a load of ramble, the instructions is rubbish, then what you're going to get back is a load of rubbish. So yeah, obviously we can see that the program is not terribly good. Sorry, Giants, but it is true. And I was trained for that, and also it is through practice and observation we can all see that that's exactly how it works. So I would like, well, let's be honest, anybody who has watched the channel for any length of time will know that I am the first to give Giants praise when it is warranted. So yeah, I'm not like a Giants basher or a hater like some people I have actually. It is true. There's quite a few people who absolutely, seriously, do not like Giants. Yeah, so that does work for that. So it's got to work for the other ones too. It's alright. This one does have a difficulty with. Well, now that is a better shape. It was a bit thin before. That's definitely made an improvement. Fantastic. Now these are obviously only for use by you, the human, because a worker doesn't know what a front loader is for some reason, so we need to like hug the side of the road because really we're a little wide. Oh my life, when are you guys and gals gonna like get it? When is enough enough? Right, okay. Yeah, I've still got to do these are actually this I worked on these yesterday for the telehandler and the wheel loader version, because I'd like to send a set to you. And again, you've gone to the same point that you already went to. Well, surely you've already done that. Oh, do you know, seriously, right, okay, we're going to have to push these. I'm going to have to, because like you, just because you're like within 2 meters of something, Giants have like made you like scaredy ghosts. Again. Like, I've got to be honest on that score. It is a difficult thing on that particular point. So knowing about programming as I do, I might not choose to be a programmer, but I do know about it. It's they've got to sort of err on the side of caution. Otherwise, you'd have these careering into one another and things like that. So it's let's set you going again, and hopefully, will you? Yeah. What? Oh, hang on. Why did you refuse to work? Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. Right, they then go off, and do they repeat the same poor instruction that they've just repeated? And this is what I think they do sometimes. And then other times, though, this one looks like he's at least going around in a circle. But no, he's not. This is what I'm saying. Look, he's going to the previous place again, which is not where I set him going. He's starting all over again, right from the start point. Now, we don't want that. Right. But it's weird because, as I said, stone pickers I always find the worst of them all. Right, let's set you going on the ups and the downs, because you don't seem to be capable of doing anything else. So that's hopefully that means that you will now listen. And you are equally a Wally. Admittedly, someone's left something in the way, but really you're still on the same ground that you were before. So I think that also is going to do the same. How are we doing across the road? Right, I'm going to go into a time lapse because like this is getting boring so very quickly, really. Right, so even though Micah hasn't told us, it appears that Micah is also. Oh, Micah can't figure out that there's a tree behind her or him. Right, That's my bad. It's okay, let's get cracking. Right, I'm going to say my words, because this is, oh my life, and this is what I'm on about. Same plonker. I've got to do the same with this one, and then I'm going to have to like finish the outside rounds. It'd be easier than this hilariously stupid thing, really. So yeah, let's do up and down, please, because you're usually better at that than you are anything else. Rubbish on the headlands. Absolutely pathetic. Right, okay, let's... So I think we're going to be doing the other one the same. Right, let's switch that on. And let's lower it manually. Yeah, I've not quite got the finishing of this right. As in, like, especially the bigger one, there's a bit of a gap in the pickup of the stones. Right, okay. Got to get... Yeah, and the level has got to be you. Got to do that yourself. So it's... Again, it's... I think I've got that a little bit slightly too far. Right, I'm going to say my words. I'm going to see you guys and gals on the other side. Right, I'm coming out the town it's a little early because otherwise there's not really going to be a session, because this is really all. It has taken me a long time to do this, but like obviously when it's time lapse it's not going to take a long time. So yeah, it's a view. I've got to be honest, even if none of my mods ever get published, and they aren't bad, they are, I mean, I'm going to say they're not, there's no errors on most of them. The only errors that are back now because I changed my model again because I knew that I'd not quite got things right. So there's now a few things that I need to work through on the production side of things. But these kind of models, there are some kind of errors that are errors that you've got to put up with because you're adding a function to something that shouldn't have it. Like a fertilizer spreader, I'd got the Razek that I changed to be a seeder because you cannot add the cultivator effects because it's impossible, because it can't go into the ground. It's always going to have an error, but it's not an error. It's a little bit like Riley S and Chris S basically said that they've got to have an invisible roller. That's because I know myself, having tried to add it a normal roller, you can't do it on FS25. So you have to basically give it the roller, well, basically programmatically, like tell it, right, you're a roller and like you're going to roll. You can't actually, and I'm refusing to do that. I'm not having it, because then it becomes the realm of lure coding and like magic, where you really are just like, you know, I mean, I know myself, having done it, I can tell any planter to be no-till, but that doesn't mean to say it really would be. I mean, the only, you know, if you look very closely, there's a few that are really should be no-till. One of them being the Great Plains, the one that you start with. It's got cultivator section, but it's told not to cultivate. Now that one's a legitimate one where you could really turn it on and you'd be well within your rights to switch that on. But what I mean is, as a modder, you can do that if you know how to do it. But it's, this is nearly done. I thought I was trying to assist. Yeah, what I was sort of saying was, even if I don't, even if, because it does seem sometimes if your face fits, but also there is a bit of patience required, which I'm not terribly good at, but I've got to get better at. But it does seem a bit of a, yeah, certain people can, you know, like modders that have been there a long time, they've got a degree of respect, and giants know that, so therefore, you know, like there's a lot of, yeah, it's Omatana, so yeah, it's, of course it's Omatana, it's 82 Studios, so of course, yeah, it's 82 Studios. Now, listening to something that Mantrid said, when he was first coming into this, he sort of mentions that, but not in a impolite kind of way, because the worst thing you can ever do is like have a go at the person that's in control of like what you're doing. Although I'm a bit of a, yeah, it's why I don't ever want to be a partner. I don't ever want to be a giant's partner, because I can't speak frankly at that point, because obviously at that point, say he's the one who needs assist the most, and that other one, trouble is the terrors for like carrying on. Why are you on someone else's lawn? You naughty person, you. I think there is a little bit here. Let's just finish these little tiny bits. There's only like little bits that I just didn't do because it was around the edge. But they will carry on and on and on, like when there's no real need. That, like, that other one on the field opposite, it literally carried on in the same pattern it was doing before, but there was no stones there anymore. I'd just already grabbed them, and I was like, are you ever going to realise that there's no stones left? And this is why sometimes, as I say, they're like, especially stone picking, they are fairly good at most things, at actually sort of knowing they've finished, but fertiliser spreading is terrible. Stone picking, I found, is the worst of all functions in the game. That they're just like, yeah, they're just awful. Right, let's go and help this last one, and we will have got quite a lot of stone out of this, really. And there's a few bits, mostly with these ones, obviously you can really, but the wide 9-metre one, I was saying, and I haven't forgotten, yeah, it's, even if I don't get any published and my face doesn't fit, I'm not worried. I mean, I did say this, if like giants did like do that kind of thing at that sort of point, because I'm not going to be horrible. But I don't really want to do it non-ModHub, although other people do. Farmer Andy, he's got mods that he does, and other people do too. But I don't want to go to one of these chop shops who rip modders off anyway and actually sort of put it on one of their sites. I really want it to be, you know, like official. If I'm being honest, I don't really want to like go for some half-baked thing. So I'm hoping, because there's no reason why giants shouldn't, on a logical basis, do my mods, because they are darn good mods. I mean, there's some of them like this one. Still, not all it is just a few particles. It's just the effect doesn't look quite right. And I'm quite sure giants are quite particular about that type of thing, you know, it being finished, as in like it looking pretty and all that type of thing, because this game seems to warrant that kind of thing sometimes, where things are more about aesthetics. I mean, we get how many cultivators, 3-metre cultivators and 4 metres, and it goes on and on and on. And yet, I was listening to Mantrid on when he was first doing his mods, he did like loads of stuff, and basically giants came back at him and said, we've already got a lorry of this type, so we don't need any more. Hang on a minute, how come there's 6 million ploughs then? He didn't say no to any of them, and that's what I'm saying. It was Mantrid's first, it's almost like breaking through a barrier, you know, like them trying whether or not you're going to give up. Well, I've got 6 mods for testing, so I'm not giving up, and I'm going to like just keep chucking more and more in. I said, hopefully giants get the impression I'm not going away. Not unless you say, sling your hook, we never want to, you know, like, and then obviously I shall willingly screenshot such rudeness and actually publish it. Obviously, I'm not having that kind of shenanigans. But, I mean, obviously they can say what they like. They are the keepers of the key holders, the keepers of the kingdom, really. And that you sort of, it is true, which the mod is held by giants, and that is the terms and conditions. That obviously it really is theirs, but they're not going to like rip you off or anything. I don't mean it in that way. But I mean, anything wild you'll never see giants do. Although No, you won't. It's true. They are very staid. Very, very staid about what they do, even to the point that some of the productions are ridiculously silly, like the cereal factory and things like that. And the other weird thing is, if you know you've done a stupid mod that makes absolutely no sense, the stubbornness of Giants is absolutely... It knows no bounds. It's still, to this day, I'm still not sure if it's still the same stupid thing in FS25. And it probably is. It really probably is. And you like think, well, come on, where's your common sense? What stubbornness is that? It's almost bordering on stupidity, sort of kind of stubbornness. Really, I'm not, you know, I'm saying it how it is, but it is ridiculous when someone is that stubborn. It's a pride that's a bad pride. There is a good pride. Yeah, not all prides are bad, but that kind of pride is to the point of stubbornness. Well, I can, so I will, and I'm the owner and the keys to the kingdom sort of type mentality, so therefore I'm going to do what I like. But, well, yeah, but it just makes you look silly. Yeah, because you wouldn't let anyone else get away with it. That's what I'm trying to say. Right, you have finished, honest. I think that's it. I think this was the last one. Sure it was. You really have finished, honest. So that, again, it just goes to show the power of teamwork. I mean, I've got to be honest, I would probably say that I did half of everything, which is not bad for a person, which does show how good that is for, like, you, the person, because you can do things that, like, yeah, you workers could not possibly do. You can zip down that. It's not the easiest of things to control, I've got to say that, because it sometimes seems to, like, leave bits and then you've got to lower it, and then it, like, it seems to miss bits, so you've got to push it in quite low. There's a real neck to it, and again, you get sort of better as you use it, but and you also gain a bit of confidence, because it's quite disconcerting. You can see as you're going that it's not actually, seems not to be picking things up. Well, it's not that it's not picking it up, it's that lag factor that is FS25's hallmark, that everything's laggy, so therefore it is actually doing it, but you can't see it, so you sort of have to begin to trust that it really is doing what, you know, like what you think it is. Let's just take that tractor back, and then we've prepared everything ready for tomorrow. Straws off the fields, stones off, as you know, and let's grab you. Let's just pour this. Yeah, obviously the one bad thing is that I often pour this at the edge of the field because it's not the easiest of things to grab, and you know, like on those little things, and you can do it because it does tell you, the same as it can still be used as a bucket. It's yeah, it's, I prefer to do that a lot of the time. And obviously another reason to have something like the mover is, well, you know, I can't pick it up with this, but you can pick it up with a normal bucket. But although this is a normal bucket, it seems to know it's a stone picker, and stone pickers can't pick stones back up off the ground, which again, it's rather a silly thing, really. It makes a stone picker look, I can't even pick stones up, and you're like, well, you should be able to. That's your function, that's your job. But it's, again, Giants are the ones that obviously control, like, what you can and can't do and all the rest of it. So it is what it is. But yeah, there are certain things. I mean, I sort of always go back to the cereal factory because it's the best example of sheer, absolutely nutty behaviour, really. Because when you look at it, I mean, I've gone through the sums really a lot, and they are terrible sums. You're almost losing. I mean, your inputs are all expensive inputs, so what I'm saying is you could sell all of those and you'd actually almost break even, and also you wouldn't have to buy the building that you're buying to keep your money together. It's a bit like a poor business where you sort of make profit, but you're not really. You're keeping your money together. You know, you're basically putting all those inputs in blindly, and you will get stuff back, but it's actually, if you worked it out, well, actually it's only just marginally. In fact, if you do your production costs on top, actually you're losing. It really is that simple. So yes, let's return this little lot. Very, very useful, well worth the I mean, it did cost us a bit, but again, it sped the job up. And sometimes I say, if you're creating content, I've got to be honest, it's not all just about, it's about, like, keeping people so that, especially if, like me, you're insisting that you show everything because it is the log. So let's return you, which means that that's going to fall down on the floor. And the lizard weight. Well, that actually, the tractor functioned very well. It did. So at that time, it did feel like it was really 400 horsepower plus. But when I was pulling a trailer, although I've always said this, obviously mass-wise, it really is. Now then, are we going to go through till tomorrow? We've done everything. Animals are fed, I think. I think we did everything like that. It'd be just nice to break free of this. And next session, well, the reason I'm doing it as well is I'm actually down at the store. Yeah, we're going to need to put some more in there. I think they're getting through the food a bit quicker. Yeah, they both can cope with it, though. They can. We'll go through till the morning. And then I will do the animals next session. And I'm going to set the workers going next session too. Or, no, I think I might set them going now. So we'll grab... No, I'll do it next session. I will, because I shall ask the shop to order things on the edge of the field so that we can crack on straight away. So we're going to hire at least 2 Pilateses. We've sold 300 chickens. I'd say that our chickens must be... Yeah, they're obviously when they sell their young, it's worth a fortune. But I'd imagine all of these now are all... No, they're nearly 1 more month, and they are... This last lot of 93 will be fully fledged adults, and they will be... So we will be getting some eggs now. There's not a shadow of a doubt about this fact. Ooh. We will indeed buy that. That would be silly to say no. We would, really. For that kind of price, it's a beautiful thing. This, I'm going to make a 12 metre. I've got 12 metre arms. I've made the arms. Well, yeah, there's a bit of a story to tell. I've sort of made the arms. Do we get that? Is that just the system that... is it the cultivatory bit? You need the tank bit. And it would only work with itself. It's a good system, to be honest. It is, but... I don't know how much the tank system is. Let's have a look. Yeah, because I do like to use things if we've got to. So how much would the rest of the Bednar be? I mean, obviously, I'm just trying to compare this to, like if I'd got to buy a complete system of my own. So the Bednar system, it's a cedar. I mean, you've also got to offset the fact that mine are a cedar planter, blah, blah, blah. But how much is the Bednar back system of the changing system? 55,000. So it'd be 55. It's got a massive compartment. It'd be a 9 metre, the same as ours. Be about the same, but you've got the disadvantage of it only being a cedar. Yeah, we could combine my beautiful little cedar there. Actually, that's a point. I am being a bit silly. Because obviously you can see that the new vegetables, the workers can actually work with that. So you know something. Not always silly, am I? So let's grab one of those. Definitely buy one of those. And we're going to grab a Pilatus too from the planter section. Do we going to grab... Yeah, let's buy one and lease one. So I can't remember. I think one of them has got a roller and one of them hasn't. I think, no, I took it off. Yeah, they both... I think, yeah, one did have a roller. But obviously, as I said, once I realised I changed its function all about, they're both identical now, so I can take one out, really, to be honest. Did I change the horsepower requirements on one? No, it is 227. So let's buy one of those. I thought we was going to order it at the side of the field. Obviously not. No, we're going to obviously bring somebody down. I think we'll order one to be delivered to the field, which I should talk to the shop now about. And that can be grabbed. So we've got one of these and one of these. Have we got anything already? I think we've got a 6 metre vegetable planter, haven't we, if I remember rightly? I'm sure we have on this. I'm sure we've got the 6 metre, because we're very fortunate. I like those. So that should be the... Vernon Mini Novafold. 6 metre, that's the one. So we've got that. So that can plug away, a 6 metre plugger. We've got the 12 metre for the new fields that I can do the new vegetables. That's the seeding variety. That'll whiz over that and that'll be done really quickly. And then we've got this for doing the I mean, we can plant everything. Oh, when is the rain coming? I've just seen it. Oh my life. 1 o'clock. We should be alright. We should have it literally done by then. So yeah, so there we go. Scene is set. We've still got 143,000. We bought a few bits and bobs as well. Got a beautiful scene. I love this little scene. This is the one I'm talking about. The game knows it started off as a Razek, no matter, you know, that it had a function previously that was fertilizing. So therefore, it sort of tells you off for not having a fertilizer. You can't do that anymore. It's not a fertilizer. I've changed the function of this. It's a seeder. And a seeder cannot have a function of a fertilizer, but the game knows it was a fertilizer spreader, so it's going, you've not got the fertilizer effect, and you like think, no, because I can't. So it tells you off for it. Let me just see if I can show you what I mean. It doesn't always show it, is the weird thing as well. What's that one? Yeah, that's the Prolatus that's showing about the ground reference node. That's because I've still got the functions of the I see it says roller area, given function process roller area not defined. It was, but it won't have it. So yeah, I'm going to remove it completely. But at the minute it's like half on, so it's not really saying anything bad. But let's have a look at. It's not showing an error actually on that. The best way to do this is why I've got this open. Is if you go into, as you buy something, it is the best way a modder can really sort of test something for basic faults. If I go like this, it'll tell me it's gone away. It has, because if you like do this, it sort of looks at that and it'll go, oh, it's got this wrong with it. Well, you can see that actually we've got this in the shop and it's not rolling, it's not showing errors. Whereas the Prolatus, when obviously you didn't see that because we didn't have this open. When I bought the Prolatus, it checked its function, said, oh, you've got the roller function missing, you naughty thing, you. And then like it says, oh, you've got the ground reference node, it's not there. All the work area start width and height is all not there. So, and it says the process roller area is not defined. Now it's because I've removed it, but yeah, it sort of knows I've half got it on still, so it's moaning. But yeah, so you can see actually that Giants must have done something to change things, that's a nice thing. So that means that my seeder now is actually perfect. Yeah, so it meets the criteria. But again, Giants said, no, we're not having this. It's not this. They said the fertilizer spreader, we've already got it. It's yours is exactly the same as the Razek, they said. So I took a picture of mine and I put it next to a Razek, and mine's much, much bigger than a Razek. It only is like a giant Razek. But it's not your model, Giants. It is mine. I mean, if you think that's a Razek with that, and it's not me just changing the chrome for like the thing, it's bigger. I mean, I think I could do it now. I could actually stretch the Razek. I think now I know a few tricks. I couldn't when I did it, but I can now. So you could sort of, Giants could think, well, you just stretched our Razek. But I took this, I blended it, and I added the materials, and yeah, it's got a weird, I added copper to that bit there that's buzzing that you can see at the very bottom. It's got like a different metal, which Giants should know by that very fact that I cannot have done that unless I added a material to a separate part of the body, which means I had got to blender it. There's no way you can do that in the Giants editor, which is proof. Also, if they look closely, that little spinner disc that you see at the bottom, that's not like the Razek. That's because the Razek hasn't got one. It's my own creation. That spinner disc at the top, it looks the same as a Razek, but it's not. The little supports that join that together again, I did all of that. The connections, support bar, oh, it's the other one, the fertilizer spreader. No, I think I removed those because I changed it. I added a support bar because I thought it was a bit top heavy. And I really still think that to this day that I really could do with adding support bars to give it a bit more sturdiness, like and a second ring higher up that joins to the lower ring, which I might actually do. But if you look closely enough, if Giants didn't just like look and then look away without actually doing any kind of checking whatsoever, they would see just by looking for about 20 seconds this is not their Razek. So yeah, it's one of those things, you know, when someone says, oh, it's the same as ours, and you think, well, only in so much as it's a cone on a base. It's not yours. It's not. Yes, it looks very similar, but most of that is completely blended and re-added. Some of them are unique in so much as you will not see them on the Razek. If you look this close at the Razek, the spinning disc is absolutely nothing like that at all. So yeah. Whereas parts of it are the Razek, but obviously blended and then rebought in, which is what you do with the modelling. So it is literally, you know, like I've remodelled it. So anyway, yeah, I apologise for going through this. So we're down to 143,000. What sort of products have we got left to sell as well? Yeah, let's have a look, shall we? Not in there. So yeah, what have we got? It says that we've got 1 million. So we've got a lot of fertiliser, which it's probably used all of the stuff that we've got for that. I don't think we need to do any more though. Let's switch that off now before it gets out of hand. We do now. I've got precision farming on, so the other thing we've got to do now is actually, I don't know where it will be. I don't know whether it's got its own section or whether it's going to be. It used to be in miscellaneous, but there are here we go, miscellaneous now. I would say it probably is in here, so we do need to buy one. I am gonna, yeah, make a scout myself. I'm gonna BI it. I am, but for now we will pay 17,000 for this. Yeah, we're not, and I'm gonna do the colour change thing for this as well, like the one that we had before, and I'm gonna see if I can increase the range, like we had in. Yeah, so I'm going to have a go at that, definitely, because it's going to be. I love that mod I never went for the silly, because you could scan half of a map with it, but yeah, I do think it's a little bit nicer to have that. So we've got the scanner, ready for the precision farming data. Where is it? Does it say about the precision farm? I'm not seeing any data about it yet, actually. Is it actually on? Ah, it is. It is. We have got it. I see I've not whizzed through since putting it on. It only was on the other day. I'm going to enjoy this. I do actually really like Precision Farm. It's not my favourite mod. It was one of the content creators said it was his favourite mod. It's not my favourite, but I do like it. But although I have got to say also, it's now that we've got the fertilised once, one of the biggest draws for me was the fact that obviously you only need to fertilise once. Well, now you've got a mod that does that. It's sort of Giants allowing that. Sort of, I'm like, as a human being, I'm like thinking, well, do I even bother? Because I've got a lime nearly all the time, and I don't have to do that now. I can lime every 2 or 3 years. So it's one of those sort of like things, you know, like you think, do I stick it on? Whereas before there was incentive. It's like someone's taking your incentive away by allowing the fertiliser once. And obviously Giants have allowed that mod in. And of course you have a choice as to whether you use it. I might switch it off now because it just seems counterproductive to have something that actually does that anyway. And then what's the point in precision farming? Really? So I'm surprised that Giants let that one pass. But hey ho, what do I know? Anyway. All that remains to be said is thank you very much for watching. Truly do hope you can stick with me on this journey. And I'm going to say goodbye for now.